Hello, lovelies, and welcome to Cheat Your Own Adventure, presenting Return of Porkface with a double feature of Porkface versus Alien. In this scenario, we are using lines and veils, which a line is a hard line we will not cross. The content will simply not appear in the game. And for that, we have specifically child abuse. Now, that's a line, something we're not going to do. A veil is something we will push up to, but then fade to black before it becomes before it shows up on camera. We're also using the X card. This is a horror game. X cards are very useful for horror games. When you are, if something in the game makes you uncomfortable in an unfun way, or it breaks your connection to the game, you can say X card. You can do this. You can type X card in the chat off to the side, and we will go a different route. You don't have to explain why or anything like that. However, if things are happening hot and fast, we may want some clarification. If you are, for instance, betrayed with spiders, we might want to know whether it was the betrayal or the spiders or the combination that did it. And yeah, it's no skin off our backs to do that. We just go a different route. The comfort of the players is far, far more important than the game itself. Now, the first scenario. Go back into my voice. From the Netflix sleeve. A young boy gifted with psychic powers must explore his family's past and learn the truth of his connection to the legendary killer, Porkface. Return of Porkface tells the story of a young boy, Michael, who has latent psychic abilities, has managed to make contact with the spirit of the legendary killer, Porkface. Throughout the course of the game, he will be tempted to commit violence by the spirit. He may also learn his family's secret connection to the killer. Narrate how Michael and... So, from a failed roll, you will narrate how Michael and Porkface have become one, usually showing Michael committing some terrible act of violence. So, unlike your standard Cheat Your Own Adventure, instead of the protagonist dying, it will be Michael giving into the influence of Porkface and becoming, allowing Porkface's return into this world. So, without further ado, I will start the narration, and it will stop with, "What do you do?" At that point, you will propose, if you, small bit of text here, turn to page, and you list a page number. The listing the page number indicates that you are done with your little segment and that people can go on to the next one. Next recommendation. All right. Your family has just moved into a small coastal town of Santa Juanita, California. While your dad is unloading boxes from your U-Haul truck and your mom is unwrapping dishes in the kitchen, you decide to go exploring. After carefully examining every room and closet in the two-story house, you decide to go next to the basement. The basement is dark and piled high with junk. Old paint supplies, moldering furnitures, and hey, a little popcorn machine like the circus. That's pretty cool. You see a trunk, too. Then you hear something. Like a voice. A soft whisper. You've heard those voices before. Unseen things are always whispering to you. You've learned to ignore it, but where is this whisper coming from? Is it coming from the trunk? You slowly, carefully undo the dingy brass latches and raise the lid. You're startled to see the head of a pig staring back at you from the bottom of the trunk. No, not an actual pig, a mask, a rubber pig mask. What do you do? We'll just go alphabetical. So Curtis, David, and then Pat.
I think I pick up the mask and uh, and try it on, sort of play with it.
So what you're saying is if you pick up the mask and begin to play with it, turn to page. What page?
Doesn't matter, just random number. 6.
Excellent. David.
All right, let's see. If you decide to try the mask on to your, how old are we again? Are we specified?
Indeterminate something in the likely in the 9 to 12 range. You know,
Okay.
Definitely kid, definitely not teenager.
Gotcha. Yeah, we might be too old for this, but that's fine. But all right, so if you try your mask on your teddy bear that you're carrying around, Humphrey, turn to page 8.
If you decide to run upstairs in terror and tell your mom what you had just found, turn to page 63.
I love the slow build up, so we will run upstairs in terror and tell our mother what has happened. Pat.
And the target number starts at 1 or 2.
Starts at 1, so it's pretty easy to
Don't
beat.
know if I could beat this. Okay. So you stare down into the deep bottom of that trunk where the shadowed rubber pig's face, eyeless, stares back at you. Did you hear it speak to you? But you are unsure. You're all by yourself in this basement. And it seems to be getting darker in this basement. But yet, the light at the top of the stairs is very welcoming. As you hear Mom rustling in the kitchen. You yearn for the embrace and protection of your mom, so you rush upstairs. Mom, there's something in the basement. It's scary. And your mother asks, well, what is it? And you say, it's a mask. Mom, it's a mask. She says, well, what's so scary about a mask? And you say, please come look. Come follow me and look. She agrees as you step back to the top of the steps of the basement, prepared to go back down and show your mother what you had found. What do you do?
And so we'll just go alphabetical from the narrator, so I'll be next. If you lead your mother downstairs and point with utmost certainty to a blank spot on the floor, turn to page 24.
If you show your mother the trunk and find the pig mask still lying there, but you fail to get much of a reaction from her, turn to page 12.
If you stare at your mother long enough that she turns back and gives you a hug and says, "All right, well, why don't you go outside and play? Maybe you can meet some new friends." Turn to page 18.
I love the idea of mother not having any reaction at all to a pig mask. So I'm going to go that route.
You convince your mother that there is something that's frightened you, and she sort of reluctantly follows you down, assuming that it wouldn't, that would be a figment of your imagination or some childlike fantasy blown out of proportion. You show her the dark and foreboding trunk. You pull the grotesque mask out of its depths. Oh. How do I roll?
Yeah, you can roll yourself and like at your desk, or you can do slash roll 2d6 over and roll 20. And yes, you have to the very difficult task of meeting or beating a 2.
I got an 8, so
Awesome. Everything proceeds as normal.
right. So that means that he doesn't get corrupted.
That's correct. Yep.
Okay,
If
right.
you meet or beat we don't so only if you get below the target number do we end up in a dead end and have to rewind.
All right. You pull the grotesque mask from the depths of the trunk and hold it up for her to see. She tuts dismissively and says, "It's just some old junk left over from the previous owners. It's nothing to worry about." And returns to her activities upstairs. You stand there, disheartened, and drop the mask back in the trunk. What do you do next?
That's me. All right, if you stare at it for a moment and convince yourself it was all just made up, and then go back up to your room to go to sleep and try not to have nightmares, turn to page 15.
If you are really worried about this mask and feel like you need to destroy it and get a pair of scissors, turn to page 21.
If you put the mask back in the trunk, close the lid tight, and turn, and hear a thump. Turn to page 70.
I think at this point he is going to maybe just pretend that it didn't happen and agree with his mother for the moment. So I'll turn to page 15.
Oh, is that me? I forgot my page number. Okay.
Please try to remember at least your action.
Okay, so now we're at 3. All right. Oh, that was kind of close. All right, so you, although that the mask was scary, you resign yourself to be brave and just leave it alone in the basement and shut and put the little latch over the basement door as you leave and go up to your room and try. There's still boxes everywhere, but the bedding's still out. And your mother and father come in to say quick good nights because they still have lots of unpacking to do themselves. And you try to take at least a little sleep. And the first thing that happens, you realize you're in a dream, and sometimes this happens to you, where you're in a dream and you suddenly realize that you're dreaming, and you can almost like control or understand what's happening, and you just have a dream with all of your friends from back at the last place you lived in that you left behind, and they're all seems like they're just crying for you. It doesn't make any sense. You still have their phone numbers. You can still talk to them all the time, but you do miss them a lot. And but then everything kind of almost like you're staring in a whole void. They kind of just disappear, but you can still hear their voices kind of sad in the background. And then something truly terrifying happens in your dream. But what is it?
If you dream of standing in front of your brand new house while it is engulfed in flames and you hear the screams of people inside, turn to page 78.
If you dream of a muscular woman with the head of a pig, hatchet in each hand, turn to page 44.
If you dream of the friends you used to have chasing a pig down and ripping it open to eat from its guts, turn to page 65.
Oh, these are all good. I think I want to go with the pig-faced woman, page 44.
At first, her form is indistinct. Looks like the shadows of your friends going into the background. But then she snaps into focus. She raises her hatchets and they start weeping with blood. She says, Michael, they've abandoned you, you know. Your friends. They'll forget about you. In a week's time. No, you shout. It's not true. It's just was just on FaceTime with Johnny. I was just gotta, you know, Jessica and Mari, they sent me, you know, pictures of them, you know, goofing off, you know, at the shore. Get out of here. Get out of here, you shriek. And she shatters. The dreamscape shatters, and you wake up in a cold sweat. The sun is low on the horizon. Smell something cooking in the basement. Not in the basement. You smell something cooking in the kitchen. It's savory and sagey and peppery. Ah, your father's favorite, pork loin. What do you do?
If the smell of pork loin keeps bringing the mask to the front of your thoughts and entices you to return to the basement, turn to page 83.
If you go downstairs and tell your parents about this nightmare you had over the meal, turn to page 24.
If you decide to FaceTime Johnny and talk to him about what you just dreamt about, turn to page 99.
I'm going to go with the awkward dinner with the parents. Not so secretly hoping you fail.
So what are we at, 5? Oh, nope, got a 10. All right, so you leave the room, or you get to the door, and then remembering the dream, you look back and go and get Humphrey, and then go down to the. Is it breakfast? I think we've been ambiguous with the day, but
I think it's pork loin is definitely a dinner food.
Yeah, that sounds right. So yeah, after that terrifying nap, we finally dinner time, and you go down. Of course, you put Humphrey in his chair next to you, and you eat this meal. It's your dad's favorite, but it's kind of okay for you. And at one point, your mom looks at you and says, "Mikey, what? You don't seem to be eating. What's? Are you okay?" And then you finally look up and say, "I had a terrible dream about that. I don't know. It was there was a lady. She had like hatchets, and she was trying to kill my friends and me, and her face, and you can't even bring yourself to say it. And there's a short silence. Then you say it was like a pig. It wasn't real. It wasn't a person. I don't know." And then your father says, "Oh, okay. Your mother told me about this. I guess there's some kind of masks downstairs from the last people. It's okay. Masks can be scary sometimes. We'll get rid of that tomorrow. Don't worry about it." And then you kind of just resign yourself to eating, just um, not knowing what to say. No one will believe you, I guess. And then your dad again says to you, "You know, Mike. Maybe it's about time that Humphrey can stay in your room during dinner, don't you think? And that's almost too much. I mean, what can you say to that? In fact, what do you say?
If you agree and say, Dad, you're right. Perhaps I am too old for Humphrey. And place Humphrey at the middle of the table so your father can take it. Turn to page 50.
If you sense the frustration and just disdain from your father at your obsession with childish things and how easily you're frightened. Turn to page 16.
If you would rather argue with your father about being able to take Humphrey wherever you want, turn to page 67.
Ooh, these are good. Really tempted by the voices one, but I think I'm going to give it to family drama and go with the argument route from Curtis.
Your father makes his ridiculous suggestion, and
He can always roll when the like the point of tension happens. Pat, it's all right.
Yeah. I'm just used to rolling first. Sorry.
Your father makes his ridiculous suggestion, and you get frustrated, thinking, and do you tell him, why shouldn't I be able to take Humphrey wherever I want? He's my friend. He listens to me. He's better at listening to me than you and Mom are. In response, your father stands up and says, and tells you to go straight to your room.
Now would be the appropriate time for that roll.
If it matches the number,
Then you're fine.
okay. You don't really have. You're not really sure how to respond. You don't have any decent comebacks, so you sigh grumpily, swinging Humphrey around as you walk up to your room, stomping on every step, slamming the door, and jumping onto your bed. What do you do next?
Oh, if um hmm. Oh, if Humphrey tells you um to go back down in the basement, turn to page 14.
If you get upstairs and in your anger decide to throw Humphrey out the window, turn to page 27.
Um, if you if you get off the bed, sorry, if you get off the bed, go to the window to throw Humphrey out, but decide, you know what? Why don't you leave instead? Turn to page 86.
I think Michael's a bit frustrated, doesn't know what to do, and is going to act rashly and throw Humphrey out the window.
So you storm upstairs and you slam the door as loudly as you can to make sure your parents hear your frustration and anger. You grab Humphrey. Humphrey, Dad's right. I don't need you anymore. And you go and open your window and you throw Humphrey out the window, and you see him bounce one time and land in the backyard. But yet looks like he's still staring back at you. You just grimace down at Humphrey and shut the window. And as you turn around, you see Humphrey sitting on the bed. The nice, perfectly sized pig mask sitting on its lap. You grab the pig mask, hold it in your hand. Michael, it whispers to you. Michael, it's time. And you agree. It is time. As you grab the box blade off your dresser and decide to go tell your parents what you really believe. That was a fail, by the way.
Yes, exactly. So we're going to rewind, and Curtis will choose a different option.
I think this time he'll decide that he's had enough of his parents ignoring him, and he's gonna try running away.
You throw open the window. You get Humphrey ready. You shake your head and you put him back on your bed and say, well, I guess this is where Dad wanted you to stay, to him. You quickly pack a little bag full of things. It's amazingly easy to do. water, a little bit of snacks. You know, your camping shovel. You hang outside the frame of the window, drop down into the backyard with nearly a noise. Small kid, springy. I'll never know you're gone until the morning, and your room starts heating up, and you don't show up for breakfast. And so you go. You trudge off up the road, out the cul-de-sac. You come across some older boys playing soccer. And one of them says, because it's getting late, the lights are starting to come on. Say, "Hey there, kiddo, aren't you? Isn't it a little late for you to be out?" No. Parents know where I am. I'm not stupid. The other kid says, "All right, well, you can stay as long as we're here, but afterwards you should go back home, all right?" And they get to, they get to their next, was it half or whatever it is in soccer? I don't know sports. And they go to go for control of the ball, and one of the kids launches the ball square at your face. What do you do? If we're not cool with this setup, we can rewind a smidge.
No, I've got it. If you're taken aback, you're upset, and you start crying and try to run away, turn to page 38.
If the voices get louder and warn you at the last second, and you perfectly duck, turn to page 48.
If you are knocked unconscious, turn to page 71.
Voices and ducking. I love it. We'll do that one.
All right. So, you're watching this game. You see, maybe there's like a sidekick or something, and you just all the voices that are usually silent, just usually whispering too, if anything, are just almost shouting at you. And so you follow their command and duck, and you see the ball go just right over your head. You realize that these older kids, I mean, that could have knocked you out possibly, and that's not nice at all. Maybe this isn't the best place for you. And in fact, the voices, they echo your thoughts, and they say, why did he try to do that? What happened? What was he trying to hurt you? Is everyone trying to hurt you? And they just get louder and louder, and suddenly you realize that, oh no, that's your voice that's saying this, and you're shouting now at these kids, and they kind of stop their game and kind of gather around you, and then you realize that as you're saying it, it's almost like they're hearing it in their heads too, and then you start just telling them exactly what they should do, like hit yourself, claw out your eyes, just kill each other. And in fact, you come to and just in a field of blood. In fact, that was a miss. No.
Excellent. So, don't want to do 2 dream sequences in one movie. Sorry, Pat. So we will go to you get beamed and you scream and cry and run away. So there's no role for this. You just take over narration.
Oh, okay, right. Uh, the ball smacks you in the face, and you can feel blood starting to run out your nose, and tears well up in your eyes. You jump up and grab your bag and just start running away, ignoring the voices of the boys trying to apologize for their mistake. You keep running and running until you clear the tears out of your eyes and find yourself lost in this town you're not used to, uncertain of where to go next. What do you do?
All right. We're at 9 out of 12, right? At this point, let's go to 12. Okay, yeah. All right. So if you run to like a little gazebo, a few streets down or something, and then decide it's time for a snack, and look in your bag only to see a pig face mask staring up at you. Turn to page 90.
If you think that you'll feel safer at school, so you run to your new school and think you could camp out in the library for a while, turn to page 29.
If you hear some voices down an alleyway, and at first you shrug them off, and you realize, no, those are actually people talking. And you realize you're standing in front of a butcher shop. Turn to page 108.
Tough choice. No good. No good ways to go. I think. I think he's going to find himself near a butcher shop.
The men and women of the butcher delivery are handing carcasses over and hanging them in the freezer room for the butcher to manage. Butcher's a stern-looking older man with a sort of a grizzled beard, still wearing the hairnet over it, and his head is completely bald. And the woman's the first person to notice you, mostly because she was just handed over her part of this delivery to the man. And she says, "Hey, kid, what are you doing out here?" Isn't it a little late for you to be up? You say, yeah, but, well, I'm lost. Can you give me a ride home? She looks to the guys and says, hey, there's this lost kid. Did you know your address, kid? You go, yeah. And you can feel yourself getting, that's what I'm looking for. You feel the blood rushing all through your head. One of the guys says, oh, no, it's all right. As long as we can put his address in the GPS, it'll be fine. And so you wait until they're done. Let their foolish thoughts fill your head. And as they're getting in, cut the brake line. And when they start to get up to speed, jump out to little grassy side berm. And the truck goes careening into an intersection, slams into some douchebag's BMW. He's probably coming home late from Silicon Valley or some sort of side piece. It's a bloody mess. Not a bad start, kid.
Let's see what happens when he turns up at the school.
So, feeling defeated after argument with the parents and the incident at the playing field, you've always liked school, so you feel like perhaps you could take comfort visiting your new school. As you arrive, you're surprised to notice that the doors are unlocked. And you step in, and as you walk, your footsteps echo through the empty hallways. And you see the door, the block letters above it says library. You step into the library. You've always found peace in books. They take you to places you'd never been, feed your imagination, stoke your fears. And as you walk in, you notice there's a display table in the library. A bunch of old newspaper clippings from this town. Date back a couple hundred years. And you're just glancing at these as you walk past, expecting to find a nice soft chair you can perch in, perhaps read a little bit of something, decide what your next move is. When a certain newspaper article catches your eye. Which one is it?
Now I
You're-
remember the name of the killer. Jenny Griggs. That's her name. As you're looking through all the articles, one name keeps jumping out at you. Janice Griggs. Janice Griggs. Janice Griggs. Janice Griggs. Janice Griggs. Go to page 62.
If you looking through the articles and finding that the town has a whole history of violence and serial killers of all different sorts. Turn the page. 76.
Tricky. Let's see if oh, okay, here we go. If all of the newspaper clippings kind of start running together, and then you realize that the only sentence repeated over and over again is put on the pig, turn to page 104.
So we're getting into tough challenge number territory.
Yeah, well into it.
Yeah, let's. I want to see where the put on the pig runs.
Yeah, that's good. That's tricky. I'm like, wait, what else could I do aside from the serial killers and the Jenny Griggs? This is perfect. So, yeah, you that's just all you can read, and you kind of just turn around, and almost like the room is spinning, and then you realize you start hearing the voice in your head, just put on the pig, and you get dizzy, and you kind of just you fall, but you catch yourself on this would it be like maybe like a bookcase, I guess. We're in the library, and you knock over a bunch of books on the floor as you catch yourself, and you realize, looking down, that it's a pile of books, but also the same exact pig mask that was in your basement. And you realize what these voices are telling you, and you put the I mean, it's almost like impulsion. You don't even know what your hands are doing, and you put the pig mask over you, and looking through its eyes, you just see that it's just a whole new world. It's like, oh wait, everyone in the entire world, they should fear me. They're the things that they're just my toys. I can do whatever I want. And just kind of the doors of the library slam open, and you walk out.
Okay. Yeah, I think the logical nature of this is to go with the name of our killer, Jenny Griggs.
The name swirls in your mind, and you hear heavy footsteps, smell blood and earth, and you see her, 6 foot tall, steel-toed boots, machete in one hand, shovel in the other, pig mask on her face. It is time, Michael. It is time to continue my work. And her voice cuts off. The voices stop circling through your head, and the room is filled with quiet. And quiet that you know comes only from one person, your mother. It's always been a bit of a cipher to you. She says, "You stay the hell away from my son, you sow." And her image vanishes. She comes to you and kneels down and says, Michael. I'm so sorry, Michael. What do you do?
If you think that she's just another illusion and that you need to somehow get away, turn to page 112.
If you're comforted by her and let her drive you home, and surely nothing bad will happen on the way. Turn to page 200.
If you confess that you've heard, hold on, let me redo that one. If you tell your mother that you've had these thoughts way before you found the pig mask, turn to page 200.
I love the she's not real.
She reaches out to caress your cheek, and you flinch back, muttering over and over again, "You're not real, you're not real." She tries to reassure you that she is, but you cover your ears and sprint out the exit. You bump into the janitor, who asks, "What the hell's going on here? What are you doing? What are you doing at this school this late?" You ignore him and keep running. Once you make your way outside, you realize that there's only one voice left in your head. It's growing in volume until it's pretty much the only thing you can hear. And it's the same voice that you heard from the trunk. It tells you to return home, to put on a mask, and to show all these illusions who's real. You somehow find your way home. The path makes itself clear, despite you having no prior knowledge. You open the door to your house. Your dad calls out from the sofa, asking if you're all right, but you carry on to the basement door. You make your way down the stairs. You open the trunk. You take the mask, put it on, and head back upstairs for a knife. Your dad comes up to you, tries to confront you, and you swing wildly, spraying blood across the kitchen walls. And now that he's bleeding out on the floor, you realize that you, you're, 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 inner voice and the voice of the mask have become one and the same. And you step out the front door, determined to spill as much blood as possible.
All right. I love the revealing your history to your mom. It was possibly also psychic?
So, as your mother kneels in front of you, you look her in the eyes as tears well up in your own, and you confess, "But Mom, she's spoken to me for as long as I can remember. It's not the house, it's not the mask, it's me. It's me. I've always had these thoughts. And I'm afraid if I can't keep them quiet, I'm going to do what they say." She rubs her hand through your hair and says, "Oh, child, it's a burden we all bear. They don't only speak to you, they've spoke to me, just as they spoke to everybody else before us in our family. It's something we have to cope with. Some give in, some do not. But that is up to you and how strong you are inside. But you need to make the decision of how you're going to do that. Are you going to come home with me or try to beat this on your own? What do you do?"
If you say, "Mom, I don't know that I can go back there with that mask." Turn to page 32.
If you agree to return home, certain that she'll be able to sort things out and help you through this, turn to page 156.
Okay. What's our target number now? 311 or 12?
12.
Okay. So this one's theoretically the last one.
Yep, this is the last one. This is the
Okay.
turning point.
Gotcha. In that case, if your mother says, "Oh, here, this is something that that helped me when I was young in another life," and she opens her purse and there's a little pig mask in it. Turn to page 300.
Oh man. Okay, so yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the miniature pig charm. That can't go wrong at all, so
Oh, did I skip you, Curtis? Sorry.
no, Curtis's choice was decide to go home with Mom.
Okay, yeah, that's right. All right. Okay. So yeah, she's like, "Oh, here, that's something that helped me." And after you just you take it without question. Of course, it's your mother. But then once you hold this little pig thing in your hand, it's almost like the voices become louder. You can hear them all over, and they're not nice. They're saying terrible things um, oh, cleavers, they cut people great. People are good. They taste delicious, and oh, it's like little spaghetti when you open them up. It's so fun. We should try it. And you're scared. You're terrified. You look up at your mother, and she just nods and says, "No, listen to them. Let me help you." And you go outside the library and find the janitor. He just turns around and says, what are you two doing here? School's off limits." And then you both look at each other, and your mother smiles up at you, and you for a moment look scared, but then a slow smile creeps over your face too. And you say, "I'm ready." And you both start with the janitor.
Oh. Just as a side note, I hate on Choose Your Own Adventure where I have to choose the last scene because I can never decide. Do I want this to end at home, or do I want this just to end with mom and son? Oh. I love the mom and son connection, so I have to see where this goes when Michael says he can't go back home. I got to go with that.
You push away from her. I can't go back. Not where that mask is. And your mother says calmly, "Darling, that mask is our burden. We survived. We made it." She gestures at the articles. But Jenny Griggs is never satisfied. She will follow you, as she followed me. The only way I got through this was my mother. The only way she got through this was her father. We have the terrible burden of keeping her locked away. My son. She holds you, says, I won't ever let her touch you again, so long as I live. She gets into the car, you get into the back seat, she straps you in. She drives, she's looking at you in the rearview mirror lovingly. And the butcher truck slams into the driver's side, killing her instantly. End movie. Sorry.
Oh, it was so heartwarming until the butcher truck.
And I hope that butcher truck, of course, after the accident, we see all the frozen pig heads all over the pavement.
Yeah, actually, that's really good. What do we see going on during the credits? Like, yeah, we see that with the carcasses everywhere and like a severed pig's head like laying on the pavement just outside Michael's door. What else do we see? Pat?
I like to imagine that like just after the accident, like Michael crawls out and lands on the pavement and puts his head down, and you see like a shadow like walk over, like you see the silhouette of a person walk over and stop just above Michael, and a pig mask like drop right in front of him.
Machete comes in from just out of field, taps him on one shoulder, taps him on the other, hands him, and switches it to the handle side for him.
I think one of the heads gets stuck on Michael's head as he makes his way out of the wreckage, and he stumbles out.
All right.
Yeah.
So this concludes Cheat Your Own Adventure, Return of Porkface. We will take a 15-minute break. Pat, thank you for pinch hitting for us. It was awesome having you here.
Oh, it was awesome having you run it, and thanks for accepting me for half your game. I really appreciate that.
Oh, hey, that's part of the fun of Dia de los Muertos is you drop in, drop out. Yeah.
Awesome, appreciate it. Y'all
Yeah,
enjoy the
great.
final girl in the second half. I love that game too.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun. Looking forward to the next part.
Bye, y'all.
Great.
See you
Bye.
in 15.
All right.
How are we doing, Curtis?
I'm doing good.
All right.
I was a little shaky on the on the on like the rules. I haven't played the game before, but I think I got it in the end.
Yeah, you did. It's it's a game that really, yeah, it only has a couple of rules, but it really does help the flow once you get like that little bit done. And thankfully that's it. Like once you get
Yeah.
that, it's easy to share and it's yeah, I love the game. And have you played Final Girl before?
No.
Okay. So well, I'll get into it when David gets back, but it's or basically we're gonna winnow the field down from a dozen characters to one, possibly zero. And we also get an extra fun bonus that we have. So we have Porkface, who's going to, thaw out and like start mutilating everyone. But we also have the alien that can make a what do you call it? A cameo appearance and just wreck stuff. Like just everybody in the scene dies, and Porkface and the alien go and fight each other. All right, welcome back. And now we present to you our second feature, Alien versus Porkface. The killer is Porkface, brought aboard the Noche in a cryo chamber to be transported to a science lab across the galaxy. At some point, the cryo chamber is turned off, or fails, and Porkface comes out of her stasis and begins terrorizing the people aboard the ship. There is a secondary killer, a monstrous alien of some sort. Alien is hiding aboard the ship and occasionally reveals itself to do battle with Porkface. The rules for introducing the alien into a scene are detailed below in the specific rule: fan service. One victim must be the ship-wide artificial intelligence. The other victims are the passengers and crew of the Noche. At some point during the introduction scenes, the following must be shown: Porkface being freed from the cryo chamber, and the alien appearing on the screen for the first time. If you forget to show these two introduction scenes, do 2 short interim scenes before beginning with the standard scenes. So, those of you who are not familiar with the rules, and those of you playing at home, the introduction scenes, you establish the characters' bonds, and you then everybody's generally safe. Then you have the scene where it's first blood, and that is the scene where the characters with the fewest bonds are all in the same scene, and they all die one by one. And then the standard play happens, where you have the killer, they attempt to kill, the characters attempt to survive, and when one dies, that scene ends. We will be rotating who is the killer. So this is part of the fun. This is also GM-less. This is great for me on the final day of a con. Maybe not so great for you all. Now, the fan service rule before we get too far along. Include 2 jokers when preparing your deck. Once the killer begins targeting victims in a standard scene, a joker may be played to interrupt the scene. First player to play a joker chooses one of the following options. The alien interrupts the scene and does battle with Porkface. All the victims escape, earning their survivor points as normal. Or the alien interrupts the scene, brutally killing every victim and does battle with Porkface. So the Joker cards are the only cards that are not shuffled back into the deck after play. If you drop a Joker during the final scene, that means all the victims die. And we get to the player with the most dead characters in front of them gets to describe how that final battle between Alien and Porkface goes. Okie dokie. So, let's create some characters. Just take your if you open up the character keeper, just go ahead and swipe across 3 or so. Well, just start giving them names. I guess we can all start on a different row. I've taken the top row because that's the shipboard AI. So I guess David, you can take the second, and Curtis, you can take the third. We'll just start making characters. We'll talk this out. And so, for instance, we can have Sergeant Sergeant Harriet Smith. She is a no nonsense She's a no-nonsense NCO with a heart of gold. And that's all you really need for a character description. I'm sure we all, through various tropes, understand what that looks like, or at least close enough to each other's vision that we could play her. See, when she gets shuffled into the cards, she might come up whenever, played by any one of us, possibly by each of us before she dies. So anybody else have any ideas for a character?
Would either of you mind putting that link to the doc in the Roll20 real fast?
Sure, I can do that.
Thanks.
Ta-da. So yeah, so either one of you can just propose a character. It can be a passenger, family man. It could be a janitor. Could be the captain. Anybody. These are the people, though, that the stories kind of focus on. Other characters who are in the background can live or die or whatever. Most likely die. But these are the important ones.
How about Ed, the jokester mechanic or engineer?
Okay. Oh, sorry. I was ahead of you.
Oh, sorry, I was typing over you.
Sorry.
Which rows? Which rows? I'm the bottom row. Gotcha. Sorry about that.
Go ahead and enter your. Let's do it this way. Or were David? Were you taking the bottom row? No. So Curtis, go ahead and make Ed there on row 2.
Okay.
Did I spell that right? I have no idea. I'm going to name the shipboard AI. I did not spell it right. I have Odysseus Mark 6. Parentheses.
We're filling in all 4 in the row, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have Odysseus Mark 6, the shipboard AI. It's obedient but old enough for sarcasm. I'm introducing Mary Colgate, pensioner, off to see the stars. You see, we've introduced also Private Hutchinson's Southern boy who loves guns and his sergeant. Nice. Dr. Blackwell, the cryo/bioscientist with dark humor. Colin Abbott, anxious computer programmer. I resemble that remark. Does anybody have a problem with me having a kid character? Or would that push a boundary?
I'd be okay with that.
Curtis?
If we maybe put a veil on their death.
Right, they don't die on scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
If they do die.
What was the did it say the nature of the what the purpose of the ship is? Kind of from the intro.
It did not. We know that the only thing we do know for certain, well, two things, is one that is called the Noche, and two that it is transporting Porkface to be examined by scientists.
Gotcha.
That's it. So, clearly with Mary and Beatrice Colgate, decided that since this is in the future, the old person has a common name in our era, and then the young person has what would be a really old person's name in our era.
So are they passengers?
Yeah, they're passengers. So
Are they just like tourists?
Yep. So
Okay.
Mary is a pensioner off to see the stars, and Beatrice is Mary's brilliant grandchild. Because why not? It's space. We gotta have a kid wizard, right? We will do our best not to work out all of our frustration at Wesley Crusher on her. I mean, I didn't put brilliant grandchild with terrible fashion sense. So why don't limitations are the sort of the pan upon which you pour inspiration. So why don't we name the captain? Or a personality for the captain? Just whatever comes to mind.
I think if he's letting tourists on board, he's probably kind of lax with the rules. He's more about making profit.
Oh yeah. But I make the first thing that jumped to my mind, which works out perfectly with your suggestion too, is just real bored. Just like, gotta do this thing again. And maybe even he or she even took the Porkface transport just because, like, well, at least that's sort of exciting.
All right. And what name do you want to have for our captain? We need a first name. I have Captain Armstrong.
Oh,
That
that's good.
sounds about right. So not Neil, because that's too on the money.
William.
That works.
All right. We'll do Captain William, quotes Liam Armstrong. Okie dokie. Let's have an ensign. Someone who's fresh out of the academy.
So if we start with description again,
What's
we'll
this?
assume that if we're starting with a description again, they're probably eager to do their job properly. Naive.
Sure. So what did you say again for that? Is there
Eager
naive,
and
eager?
unless you got something better.
Should give them a nervous habit. We'll say tugs collar when nervous. All right, so Ava Mendez, perfect name for Porkface investigator / fan. And do we have a name for? We have a name for our eager, naive, and perhaps somewhat nervous ensign. I have our obligatory, at least if I'm doing an ensemble cast, non-binary character. We have Xander Bing, ship's cook and amateur barista. Because calling someone an amateur barista sounds like an insult.
Oh, how about, I'm just looking up like last names. How about Ensign Salt? That's a good last, like kind of like
Awesome.
salt of the earth.
And I have picked a super high class first name, Merriweather.
Beautiful. Love the contradiction there.
Oh, I hope all of these characters live because I already love them. I was like, yeah, somebody who's like intrepid and excited. I should have like a Clark or a Lewis or something like that. Oh, Merriweather. I was really glad that you had a last name. All right, so our cast is Odysseus Mark 6 reporting for duty. We have Sergeant Harriet Smith. Get back to your station, Private. We have Mary Colgate. Pleasure to meet you. We have Beatrice Colgate. What? We have Ed, Chief. Good to meet you. We have Colin Abbott, sir. We have. Look, just call me Liam, all right? Ensign Merriweather Lewis. Good to meet you. Private Hutch. Dr. Blackwell. What? No, I'm supposed to be here. Ava Mendez. And so, people don't really talk about how well sage and coffee go together. Xander Bing. And I've already given them more personality than they're supposed to have. So, the next step. Just as a reminder, nobody actually owns these characters. They are the community pool, so I'm resetting them back to the gray title bar. When you take over a character for a scene, you will color them after your color up on the left. And if you want to change your color, go for it. Blah, 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 blah. I always forget how the intro scenes work. Okay, so we can randomly describe who is in a given scene. If someone just wants to call a scene somewhere in the ship and they can just pull in what characters they would think would be there. like the bridge, the canteen, the bowels of the ship, cryo lab. You know, whichever. Does anybody have a preference of where we start?
Let's see. And we have certain things we have to do, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, the alien comes and Porkface is freed, basically, in these intro scenes.
Yeah, so at the end of the intro scenes, that's when we have the baddies show up. So we get a few intro scenes.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I feel the most logical place to start is just like right on the bridge, right?
Yeah, that works. That is a great first scene. Let me, for some reason, I have a terrible time finding the intro scene rules, and I apologize. It has been a minute since I ran this. I thought I had everything sorted out.
Oh, you're
I
fine.
was wrong. Dead wrong.
If I remember correctly, the main rule is like everyone has to get a friendship or rivalry or screwing thing in the
Yeah.
intro.
Everybody has to get into an introduction. Okay, here we go. Introduction scenes allow you to introduce the characters you are interested in and develop their relationships without a murder sticking a knife in your eyeball. Wow, that's vivid. Once the premise is established, the characters have been cast, you need to do 3 introduction scenes. There we go. Nobody dies during the introduction scenes. It's free roleplay. Just describe the characters talking and interacting. Think of opening scenes in a horror movie where you're establishing who everyone is and how they feel about each other and elaborating the details of the of the relationships with each other. One player will be responsible for framing and ending the scenes. If you're the only one who's read the rules, it's probably your turn first. Thank you. If everyone's familiar, the first player... Okay. So if you're framing a scene, what are the characters doing? What is the scene about? It's pretty easy to improvise an agenda to the scene, but ultimately it should be a characters you're interested in. Sorry. So during the introduction scenes, everybody will be playing one character. And so, yeah, we're not going to get to everyone because we have 12 characters.
Yeah, I think the way the math works, right, is that the people we don't pick end up dying first.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, so the bridge is fine. We can say that the bridge is opened up to passengers and whoever at this particular time because we're just going through some empty space right now and all the systems are on autopilot. So who's interested in playing a character? Who's interested in having a character? Pick someone you're interested in seeing in the scene. Oh my god.
Yeah, there's a few obvious choices. I mean, I feel the most fun for me. I think I want to be the AI.
Brilliant. I'm going to grab Beatrice.
I guess I'll be the captain.
Perfect. You don't have to be the captain. You can be, we can make Colin Abbott a lieutenant.
All right, yeah. That makes more.
Brilliant. So yeah, Lieutenant Colin Abbott is the. Does he have the deck on the con at this time? since we're just in sort of boring, ordinary space? We'll say that he does. And he's explaining... There. Yuck. He is explaining how the ship due to Beatrice Colgate with Odysseus perhaps laying in some wry commentary. Beatrice is looking around, says, I have never seen this much computer equipment in one place.
Yeah, honestly, it's a little outdated. I think we could have put in for a new system. There's just too much junk here for supporting each other. Basically, a house of cards.
What? No. It takes a lot of people to run a ship, I thought.
Yes, and actually, these systems run quite well.
Yeah, well, quite well. Doesn't really cut it when we're hurtling through space. The cold vacuum. So close to... I mean, yeah, I suppose you could say it's adequate.
Well, I will suggest that getting rid of some systems could help speed things along. Life systems, top of my list.
Yeah.
Odie, don't say that.
Just a joke.
Well, don't much appreciate jokes being made at our expense when, work needs to be done. We need to stay on course. Maybe focus on that rather than pushing your systems to make fun of me.
Incorrect. My systems say that users are 68% more comfortable when humor is attempted.
Depends on who's telling the joke, says Beatrice. Like, I made fun of my grandma for being old, and she didn't find that very funny. The other kids found it hilarious. Then I got grounded for 2 weeks.
Joke prompt detected? Hold on, searching. How old was she?
She was like 70 something. It was a couple years ago.
I think there's just a track of like an audience laughter. Good one, Beatrice.
I slammed the monitor. It's not supposed to. I don't understand how that feature got on here.
All right, I think that's a good spot to end the scene. The person who calls the scene decides when it's done.
Yes.
So we decide then what these people's relationships are to each other. So friendship is friendship, just what it says. Rivalry is, friendship, if you have friendship with somebody, you can only help them when the time comes to play, when the time comes for the killer to show up. So if, say, and it's not reciprocal. Wait, is it reciprocal? I think it's reciprocal, actually. So if Beatrice is friends with Odysseus, they can only help each other out with their when the killer comes to bear. Rivals are the opposite. Somebody that you want to prove you're better than. So you can only help the killer instead. Screwing has a bunch of different meanings. It can mean literally fucking, or it could mean that you're screwing with the person. That you have sort of a playful cat and mouse sort of relationship with them. So you can either help them or throw them under the bus.
Let's see.
I think Colin has a rivalry with Odysseus.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
And of course, Beatrice wants to be friends with everybody. She wants to be friends with both Odysseus and Colin. And she's a stereotype.
Makes sense to me.
So yes, so throughout play, for instance, in another scene, if Odysseus and Colin are in the same scene, then their relationship could turn to friendship through, being in the gallows together. But right now, it's a rivalry. And is it going to be confusing if Odysseus shows up as Odie on Beatrice's card? Do we all know who that is?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean,
Okay.
theoretically, he's going to die first anyway, so.
Well, not anymore. He's got 2 relationships. Okay, so Colin.
Oh, do we get the stars too for this, or does that only happen when the?
Only when you survive a scene.
Gotcha.
So, Colin, not Colin. God damn it, Curtis.
Right.
And David, do you have any other scenes that you want? Can you think of anything, a backdrop for characters to be working and or interacting?
Maybe there's a couple people in the cafeteria.
All right.
Nice one.
I think it'd be cool if we had almost imagining like the officers and passengers get one cafeteria, and then all of the enlisted get the other cafeteria, and the kitchen sits between them. Is that cool?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Awesome. So which side are we on? Are we on the officer side or the enlisted side?
Who's enlisted?
So enlisted are sergeants, privates, chiefs, and then one of the passengers could be stepping out of their allowed spaces to sneak in there.
Right.
So the obvious people would be Chief Ed, Private Hutch, Sergeant Harriet, Xander Bing. I am going to take over. Well, actually, no. Which side are we on, Curtis? Flip a coin.
Let's say we're on the enlisted side.
Awesome. Then I am definitely going to take actually Dr. Blackwell, is played by Alan Rickman.
Perfect. I think I want to try and do my awesome Southern accent and be Private Hutch.
All right.
I think I'll go with Ed.
Perfect. So what is the backdrop? Curtis, you get to give us the setup and tell us when you're satisfied.
I just say it's dinner time. They're lining up to get their food.
Awesome. I'll say the two of you are together, and then you hear the sound of dress shoes behind you, and you're like, who the hell is wearing dress shoes in here? And who else is it but Dr. Blackwell? It's good to see you. If my Alan Rickman impression goes awry, just tell me.
Oh, it's
don't have
perfect.
to do it.
Oh, well. How you doing, Doc? Didn't think you'd ever come out of that lab up there.
No, it's all right. Cryo systems are terribly finicky things, and I can't trust the shipboard AI to take care of it. It seems to think that arbitrary systems are not worth its attention.
Oh. Well, I don't know what that means, but we do have tots today and protein bars.
Really, I'm only here for the hot sauce. The stuff in the officer's mess is absolute garbage.
But tots? I don't know.
Well, I love tater tots as much as the next earthler. He shrugs. Chief, you're looking in good health.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say it's any thanks to the food here. It's not much better on this side either.
No, it isn't. They just can't have us fraternizing outside of our stations. But I'm not really an officer, and the passengers don't seem to like me very much. But I do have some good tea if you'd want to split it.
I'm not much of a tea man myself. I'd rather just
What if I said that I had genuine cream from Ireland to put into it?
I'm still not up for that. He takes a flask from his jacket pocket and offers it to Dr. Blackwell. How about a bit of the
Drop the pure.
yeah, just a term for alcohol slips my mind right now.
Oh, no, thank you. Sadly, my drinking days must be behind me.
I
For
think
yourself?
Hutch sees this and he's like, oh, if you're offering, though.
Ed hands him the flask.
And I think he takes like an impolitely long sip of this. It's like, oh, yeah. Oh, that's great.
It is like moonshine.
Yeah. He's like, oh, just like Granddad had made. Love it.
Well, I definitely think that Dr. Blackwell and Ed are screwing with each other. Maybe not screwing, but definitely screwing with.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah. Maybe Ed and Hutch sharing that drink maybe qualifies as some sort of friendship, maybe. At least in Hutch's eyes.
Yeah. That sounds good. And Dr. Blackwell says, Hutch, would you care for some tea?
Oh well, I don't much like that tea from where you come from, but I got some iced tea if you want. It's pretty good. They got it shipped from the Littman shipment. Came right over. Stocked up.
No, thank you. I don't want to surrender my teeth just yet. I bid the two of you gentlemen adieu.
Yeah, see yourself.
Ed does
his, tots and hot sauce.
Ed does a bow, ironically.
And, yeah, Hutch is like, "Yo, Ed, you want some Long Island's back in my bunk?"
Sure thing, Hutch.
Aww. So that sounds like the end of the scene. Did we establish any relationship between Hutch and Blackwell? I don't think so.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know.
The only thing that it might have been going that direction was rivalry, but I don't see it.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. So David, it's up to you now to set this next scene.
All right. Okay. How about this is when Ava Mendez is going to be discovered. Like theoretically, could be anyone.
Awesome.
So at least Ava has to be in this, but you can pick anyone.
Are you grabbing Ava then?
I'll give you two first pick if you want. Oh, who's in there?
I want to grab Xander.
I'll go with Ensign Merriweather.
Cool.
Very nice.
Ava. So yeah, I'm thinking maybe in I don't know, whatever qualifies like the cargo bay or stockade or something. I think that's how she smuggled aboard, maybe.
We could also have her getting caught sneaking into the kitchen.
Oh yeah. Oh, perfect. Yeah, that makes sense. I love it.
All right. So what do you think, Mary? Do you want to do, I don't know, lavender? We have chamomile. Chamomile is always good.
I don't know. There's just so many good choices. What would you recommend?
Oh hell. That sounds like a good time for a box to clatter or something.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, like, oh, this coffee maker or something just like tumbles over.
Not my French press.
Yeah.
Shatters.
Who is that?
It's just like this like young girl just frozen in place, and then just I think she just bolts maybe into like a closet, so it's like basically trapping herself.
Hon, you know that's a freezer, right?
Ensign dashes over to the door and slides it open.
Yeah, and she's just in there with her head down and walks out. She's like, all right, fine.
I'm gonna need to report you to the captain.
I mean, what are you talking about? I was just hungry. I got lost.
Clearly, you're up to something. Why did you run away when we noticed you?
And she's just obviously searching. She's like, oh well, I don't know how much the French press was, and I used all my money to get here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. What I want to know is looks you up and down and then says, I want to know what 64 kilos you took off of our ship to sneak on it. That would be about 140 pounds, which I imagine is significantly above her weight.
Oh, she's like, all right, fine. I don't know. Listen, that I guess you got me, but I mean, between us, listen, you guys are sitting on the story of the century. If I can just get a story about what Pigface is doing and what the transport, when it happens and what the scientists find out, I stand to make so much money. And I can cut you guys in if you guys just look the other way.
You want me to mutiny?
No,
Look,
there's no
No, no. Meriwether, Ensign Salt, please. This isn't mutiny. This is dereliction of duty. It's different.
well, to me, it isn't. Both equally reprehensible acts. Now, either you come with me now, or things are going to get physical. He sort of lifts his arms up in a defensive pose, but he clearly has no idea what he's doing.
All right, listen here, Black Belt. I don't know how much they pay you, but I can make this is retiring money, and all you have to do is report me after we reach the planet. That's all. Just
Your
wait.
words are falling on deaf ears, kid. Bing just sort of pats Ensign Salt on the shoulder and says, "This guy is married to the stars."
Yeah, what they said.
And she says, well, I mean, I'm sure they don't pay you a lot, mess hall cook.
Tell you what, I can add you on as my sous chef for the journey.
I've chopped onions before.
Awesome. The first thing is you're going to tell me is you're going to do inventory. You're going to lift boxes. You're going to figure out what you threw off this ship so that you and your hopefully no more than 20 pounds of personal effects could get on here.
Oh, well, I mean, I am more of like a writer.
Now,
so if you can lift the boxes.
please.
Oh, fine.
There, you can't kick her off the ship now. She's an employee.
Well, that may be, but I'm still going to have to tell the captain.
I'm sure he'll be deeply concerned. That's her calling, right?
Yeah, that's great.
So I think Xander has a rivalry with both of you.
I don't know. It seems more like she's screwing with Salt. Maybe if you want it to be a full rivalry, it could be. But
No, I was thinking at most positive it would be screwing. Unless Ava respects Xander, for being tough but fair. But I was taken by your reaction that Ava was really incensed by.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Double rivalry for Ava.
Perfect. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. It's rare to get this much enmity going out of a scene. Okay. And now, unless my Oh, that's wrong. Unless my brain is on wrong, which it sometimes is. Our 3 delightful first victims will be Mary, Captain Liam, and Sergeant Smith.
Didn't it specify we have to kill the AI first too, or did I make that up?
No, it says I believe it says the AI has to be a victim, which just means a character.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, one of the victims must be the ship-wide artificial intelligence. So the ship-wide intelligence could even be the final girl.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Which is also why I don't like when people play dogs in this, because the killer frequently can't bring themselves to kill a dog or the person playing the killer. But the first time we played, people just assumed that the dog would have friendships with everyone, and nobody formed a relationship with it. So the dog died in the first scene.
Nice.
Oh,
That's a good way to set up a killer too. Killing the dog? Come on.
Yeah. It's like, oh, it's going to be one of this kind of movies. I see how it is. Okay. So we have all that jazz. First Blood is a unique type of scene, which follows the introduction scenes. We introduce the killer. That would be Porkface. Not only will they frame the scene, they will also decide whatever else when the stuff starts killing people. Each player who's not the killer will choose one of the characters that has 0 relationship. So that's our 3 highlighted in purple here. The ones who are picked are still lucky and still have a chance. If there are no characters with 0 relationships, pick the characters who have the fewest relationships. Especially if it's somebody's first game, make sure they know before going into the scene that everyone dies. Also, I fell down on that when I first ran it. Didn't describe that. Okay, so we are going to have... I want to say that this is... I want to say it's in the captain's quarters. So that means the captain, for sure. But it also means... but it could mean that Sergeant Smith is there, or Mary Colgate, either one. Captain gets audience from people all the time. But I do want to say that they are playing cards. I want to say that they are playing some sort of... So they're playing pinochle, something unusual. So who wants to play Captain Liam?
I was most interested in him, I think.
Okie doke. David, go ahead and pick him up. And Curtis, which seems more interesting to you? Sergeant Smith or Pensioner Colgate?
I think I'll go with the sergeant.
All right. So the scene opens with the 2 of you playing cards at the captain's desk, when suddenly a little warning light comes on the captain's desk. It's a big old mahogany looking thing with like a, what do you want to call it, transparent panel off to, like the touchscreen panel off to one side, which displays a different overview of the ship's systems. And the thing that's blinking is down in the hold, in the part of the hold that takes a lot of power.
And I think
cryo.
As they're playing cards, he's like, all right, let's finish up this hand real fast. I have all the trump cards. Come on. And maybe they play like another round, and the warning light like changes it even more violent color, and he's like, oh, God damn it! All right, hold on for a second.
I want to change the view briefly. That we have Porkface on an examination slab. Our hands start to flex. She starts to sit up. And it snaps back to the view of the two of you.
You need me to go with you, Captain?
I don't know. It's probably just another glitch again. Adi's been acting real weird since I put that banter protocol in there. And looks over at the table and just like a pile of money or something that we were all betting. It's just like, no, I guess we should go look. Come on. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Of course, Captain.
Was Mary there with us too? Or was it just okay? So he says, like as they're leaving the door, he stops and points at the sergeant, just like, I don't think you're getting out of that. We're gonna finish this up once we get back.
Yeah, I wasn't finished kicking your butts.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna win all of that back. Don't worry. Give me like 2 hands. Come on. Maybe they're like walking down the corridors and stuff, and people are like waving, like, "Oh, the captain, hi!" And he's just like, "Let's go." Yeah, sure.
Harriet nods curtly to each of them.
Nice. So you get to the cryo chamber, and it's made to look like it failed. But the first thing you realize upon accessing the panel is that somebody opened it.
Oh God, what is going on here?
What's wrong?
Someone opened up the cryo thing. This is the entire reason we're paid to be on this trip.
Yes. Whoever did this did not open up the cryo casket for the greaser or any of the other terrible human beings that are being sent for study. Just Jenny Griggs.
Oh, awesome. Oh, I think I missed the part where they're all like serial killers. That's even cooler.
I figured, why would you send just one mass murderer? You know?
Good point. Just like, so someone's stealing our cargo. You know, that goddamn doctor. I knew he had screw loose or two, but this is my livelihood. Let's go over to his lab and have a word with him.
I don't think we should start naming names right now. We don't really have much to go on.
Well,
you hear the sound of leather stretching.
All right, Doc, is that you? We're on to your game. Why don't you come along? The sergeant's here.
Doctor?
The medical table just comes in from out of camera and hits the captain square in the abdomen, pinning him up against the wall. This horrifying crunch.
Nice.
Still alive, though. Barely.
I think the sergeant would probably have a weapon on her at all times, just in case things went bad. So she spins around to the direction that the table came from and holds up a gun. Whoever that is, come out now.
you hear another stretching of leather off to your right.
She spins to the right.
Is what's the captain doing now aside from like making a horrible gasping noises?
Yeah, I think just he's like trying to push this table, to unpin himself, and he's like, "Oh God damn it! Whoever's out there is gonna get airlocked when I get out of here," and he's just coughing blood everywhere.
Yeah, it's like a 600-pound slate table. It's not
Yeah.
moving.
Mm-hmm. And maybe he has like a sidearm or something too, and he just like kind of picks it up, but
He's
it's
trying
too
to-
weak and just drops it.
Yeah. While the sergeant is turned away, we see a muscular arm reach in from out of frame and rip the top half of the captain away from the table. And then there's a splash of blood that coats the side of the sergeant's face from that side.
The sergeant flinches and is shaking now. She tries to wipe the blood from her eyes and stumble towards the doorway.
Yes. You get all the way to the doorway. Something grabs your hand, pulls you back, pincers your head and your upper body and that arm in the door, wrestles the gun from your hand. Bang! And that scene.
Was Mary not in that one?
Mary was not in that one.
Okay.
So yeah. Vardad.
And then I think, correct me if I'm wrong, we should mark or note that who was playing the person when they died for the ending.
Yep. You can go ahead and just clear out the friendship rivalry stuff and just say that you were I don't know, final player and then your name, or you can or yeah, we can mark them dead like that and have your name next to them.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, that works. So now we go on to normal scenes. Normal scenes, the killer establishes the scene. So that would be, in this case, Curtis or David, whichever one of you wants to go next. Normally, I would just do this like alphabetical wise, so we could go Curtis, and then David, or we can go the other direction if you want another scene to sort of catch the flow, Curtis.
I'm fine with alphabetical. That could make sense if you have an idea or anything, Curtis.
Right.
Oh, before we get into the proper killing cycle, would you mind taking a bio break for a second?
Actually, that sounds perfect.
Cool.
All right. So the way this works is that the killer sets the scene. So that's Curtis gets to say what the scenario is, and then we decide who would be in that scenario. So this could be anywhere on the ship.
Think it might be down in crew quarters. Maybe people are starting to go to bed now.
Awesome. I think I would like to take Hutch, if that's cool with you, David.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Let's see. Hutch has only got stuff with Ed. Let's go with Ed. Sure. This is maybe the drinking time that they have.
Oh, that sounds perfect.
The Long Islands. Awesome. So, yeah, maybe Ed is just like drinking, this what's just like super alcoholic, just iced tea.
It's moonshine.
Yeah.
Oh, he's made a Long Island iced tea with the moonshine.
Yeah, so barely qualifies as Long Island. Just Lipton iced tea with a lot of alcohol in it, I assume. And so I feel at least Ed is like real drunk at this point. Just, oh man, it's been so long on this ship.
What? It's only been like a week. Ed, jeez.
Really? Just one?
Yeah,
Wow.
man, just one.
Wow. Man, feels like forever. I mean, I guess I've been looking at these, the schematics for this ship so long, it feels like a lifetime.
Man, you gotta build a routine. All right? That's why being enlisted is awesome. You get up, you get orders shouted at you, you do the orders, you come back, you get more orders shouted at you, and your day just goes like that. You don't have to think about a blessed thing.
Hutch, I don't know. If I take orders, I like it from one thing. And he raises up the glass and takes another drink.
Ain't there always shit breaking on this ship, Chief? Ain't there always something to fix?
I mean, we're on autopilot now. We're just in the home stretch. Barely even takes my attention. The real problem is starting and landing. Everything in the middle is just easy.
I guess that makes sense.
At that point, you hear heavy footsteps coming down the corridor outside.
A big girl like this would probably have some trouble getting up.
Oh, did the doc decide to join us after all? Huh.
Nah, that ain't Doc. Griff, is that you?
You hear the footsteps stop outside the door.
There's definitely someone big like Griff.
Well, damn, I got plenty more moonshine. Let me go see. And he kind of just like stumbles up and goes over to the door.
And this is where we draw. So let's flip over to roll 20.
Does
The killer does not draw. The killer just plays cards off the top of the deck.
Does Porkface have a weapon? Or
Porkface has whatever you want her to have.
all right.
But I believe for the super fans out there of the Porkface series, they would be up in arms about her using the sergeant's gun. Porkface doesn't use guns. What the hell is this shit? So anyway, so you get to draw one card plus one card for each of your relationships. So go ahead and hover over the deck. You'll see a thing that says deal. Deal cards. For me, it's 2. To me. And then I can also just deal you the cards if you want, David. You don't have
I
to
think
fuck with it. All right.
I
Then
think
you
I
would
got
get 3 cards, 1 for luck, 1 for each relationship. Okay, so cool. Now when the killer attacks, you say who you're attacking, which could be one or the other or both, and you draw from the top of the deck. So you don't draw. You'll drag a card from the deck and drop it into the play space.
Right. Okay. Seeing as Ed's the one who opened the door, I think he's the one I'm attacking.
Oh yeah.
that seems fair. Oh no. All right. Well, that's fine. Don't worry.
Oh, we're up there. Awesome. Let me get my cursor up in that corner since that's where you all are. So that's good. So, Curtis, describe how Porkface makes the attack, and then Ed, you describe how you get away.
Does this have to be a killing attack?
Yes, all attacks are killing attacks. So,
Okay.
when you draw, that's when you're trying to kill somebody, and then we play cards to resist it.
All right.
If we beat your card, if we beat your card fair and square, then we succeed. And if there's a tie, there is the bloodier and more stabby the shape is, the higher ranking it is. So it's clubs, spades, hearts, and then diamonds. So yes, in this case, Ed is able to beat your king and is able to scramble away somehow. So describe the attack that Porkface makes, and then David will describe how Ed escapes the clutches, and then we'll resume narration again when you try to swing at one or both of us.
Okay. I think Porkface is going to throw the top half of the captain at Ed and sort of pin him under it.
All right.
And then he comes around to finish him off. She comes around.
Oh, nice.
All right. How does Ed survive this, at least for the time being?
Yeah. So I think, the captain's body kind of flings against him, and he falls down. And as Porkface is just, towering over him, he just grabs I guess like a bottle of moonshine or something, and just like throws it up at Porkface and hits him in the porcine eyes, I guess.
Right.
He scrambles away from there. And
What
just
are we
screaming
gonna?
the entire way, I should mention.
What are we gonna do, Ed? With this, that's the only way out of here.
He's like, and he looks down at like another bottle of moonshine. He's like, "What the hell was in this?"
I was pissing in that.
God damn it!
So do you want to make another attack at one or the other or both of us?
Right. Am I blocking the door at the moment?
You didn't say you came through it, so yep, you're still.
I did walk over to
Yeah.
Ed.
I mean, there's not a really good path around you at this point. So
All right.
yeah.
Uh,
I'm really glad I emptied my bladder earlier, says Hutch.
I guess because Hutch is doing all the squealing, Porkface turns to him and tries to grab for his throat.
All right. Give us a play. So that's
Oh no.
yeah.
Well,
Do you want to help?
well, I would love to, but nothing I have can beat a 7 at this point.
All right, then describe Hutch's grisly end.
Porkface grabs him by the throat, picks him up, and slams him down on the metal frame of the bed,
Oof.
squishing his head.
Brutal. And then Ed scrambles away, I guess, while this beatdown is going on. Okay. So that scene, everybody discard your hands. And we will... Yeah, let me make sure. I know we did discard our hands. I'm not sure whether or not they go back into the deck unless we run out.
Yeah, I don't know that either. That's a good point.
A character gets... When a character survives the scene, another character died, they get a survivor point, mark it on the index card. Through the remainder of the game, any scene they're in, they may discard a card and draw a new one for each survivor point they have. The survivor points refresh every new scene that they are in. Yeah, I really don't know. Let's just shuffle them all back in. We can... Actually, we'll just delete them. Okay, so that means, David, you are the next contestant.
Yeah. All right. I think maybe some time has passed. Probably not like a whole day, but like at least a couple hours. And I think it's Doctor Blackwell's office theoretically. Either looking at either Hutch's body or the captain's or
Awesome.
the sergeant's. Maybe all.
All three of them? Yeah, that makes sense.
I have a question before I think I know the answer to this, but I assume if we draw a Joker, you could probably play it at any time because they're all interrupts, right?
Yeah, so the Joker, if you had a Joker in your hand, you could have played it during the last scene, and then at which point something special happens. With these rules, the alien shows up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nice. Assume you don't have to be target at first. You can just play it at any point.
So what you can decide is, since you empty your hands every round, you can decide whether whoever plays the Joker, even if it's the killer, gets to decide whether the survivors escape or whether they they escape and then there's the showdown, or whether the alien comes in and slaughters everybody and then dukes it out with Porkface.
Gotcha.
So we're in Dr. Blackwell's, in that area. We're examining the bodies. I guess it makes sense if one of us was Dr. Blackwell. Do you want to pick up Dr. Blackwell, Curtis, or should I continue playing him?
I think you're doing a good job.
This is the downside about doing funny voices, is that you tend to get stuck with that character.
I think I'll go with Ava.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we can just start whenever. Yeah.
Do we draw the cards now, or
No, we draw the cards when the killer attacks.
all right?
Ava, dear child, Tell me you didn't release this monster on our ship.
No, I swear, I just showed up. I took the wrong turn. I wound up in here. I don't know how. I have no idea what happened.
Why do you smell like onions?
I've been working in the cafeteria.
Oh. Well. I put my career at significant jeopardy to have you on this ship, and I have to say I will not. Well, it'll go very badly for the both of us if anyone in the senior staff finds out that you're here.
I swear I've been keeping it on the down low, just between you and me and Xander and Merriweather.
Not Merriweather.
Yeah, that little punk. Goody two shoes.
Guy is so straight-laced. So straight-laced, I think if he crossed his arms, his back would split open.
So what did happen? Oh, again. If you want to go ahead.
Oh, if you got something, go for it.
So what do you think did happen here exactly, Doc?
Jenny Griggs happened here. Look at this. The captain was pinned against the wall and ripped in half.
That's pretty gruesome. What happened to the top part?
Oh, and that's in the drawer beneath it. It's left a nice, long, bloody smear all the way up to the NCO's quarters.
Oh, and I think continue this scene for a couple of seconds, but I think the camera, as you guys are just looking at this horrifying, disgusting, ripped up corpse, just the background, like just out of focus, you see maybe one of the bodies sit up on the table behind you.
Up the corridors, so you mean she's loose on the ship?
Yeah. And
Shit.
if you want, you can go talk to Chief Engineer Hux, but Chief Engineer Ed, but he's not been saying much that's comprehensible these past few minutes.
Well, I gotta take every lead I can get.
I think like the camera focuses in on just a big hand kind of just grabbing like a bone saw or something from this medical table.
What was that?
Oh, and that exactly when he looks over is when the killer targets Dr. Blackwell.
All right. So, deal yourself some number of cards, 1 plus the number of relationships you have. For me, it's 2. For you, it's 3. Oh.
He's good at getting kings. Or she is, actually.
So, I'm going to try something.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dr. Blackwell shouts, "Duck, Ava!" And, like, trying to establish that he's friends with her. Does that make sense? In which case we would both get cards.
Yeah. Oh, that is especially tricky with 3 players because you can't really get relationships afterward because someone will always die. So I think that's a good audible rule for 2 players. I think that makes more sense.
Yeah, it seems so.
I mean, you So go ahead, and since you've got an extra one, you can deal yourself one, or you can drag the card off and put it on top of your icon. So this is what I got.
Oh no.
Yeah. So that does not beat the king. Ava, do you have anything that beats a king?
Nope.
Maybe a joker?
You can if you want.
I don't have a joker.
Oh, I don't have it. Okay, you need to draw a joker.
Yeah.
Then no.
So yeah, it looks like Dr. Blackwell is taking one across the face here.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So try and make this as gruesome as possible. Like Pigface just slams this stall and it goes like halfway into his face, and then using that force, just like throws the doctor onto the table and just starts sawing the rest of the way.
Run! He says.
Ava takes a quick picture with her camera.
Oh, nice. Love
It's
it.
like, it's like him.
Snaps.
It's like foreshortened him reaching out to her, shouting "Run!"
And then just before Porkface turns to her, she makes her way out of the room as fast as possible.
Beautiful.
Oh, well, okay, so that was that scene.
Yeah, that was. Did Porkface draw the King of Spades the first time too, or was it the King of Clubs?
That was the King of Clubs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's, I guess statistically not too far-fetched, but I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. What a coincidence.
All right, go ahead and discard your cards. I really wish I could see where the discard was. Now. If I show the discard pile, can you see it?
I don't see any discard pile on mine, at least.
Okay, cool. All right, so when you delete it, it goes into the discard pile. So that's good. None of the cards are going back into the deck.
Okay.
So the next scene. I want... Pardon me.
And then Ava gets a survival star thing, right?
Yep.
That's good for something, and I forget what, but good to know.
You can discard a card and draw a new one.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it lets you perhaps stick around longer. So, right. So I want this to happen in the computer room. It's dim, it's cold. It's the hum of computer fans and everything like that. So who's going to be there?
Oh, go for it.
Go ahead. Oh,
I was going to say, I have someone I want, but I'm going to give you first pick if you want.
I was just going to pick Colin again, but if you want to switch things up.
That works. I was going to pick Odysseus.
Perfect.
Yeah, okay, cool. So good with what we had.
Oops.
Yeah, close enough. So yeah. So there's the computer room, there's humming, there's all that sorts of thing going on. It's pretty loud, pretty cold, pretty uncomfortable if you're made of flesh and blood.
I think Colin's trying to reprogram Odysseus to remove the laugh track feature. Trying to figure out how it got on there in the first place.
Oh, sorry. You'll have to use the protocols of Captain William Armstrong to overwrite the banter protocol. I'm sure you can talk to him now. Just kidding. And there's like the audience laughter.
Colin slams on the monitor again. God, shut up.
I'm not detecting any laughter. I should mention that I said that you should talk to him, but he is dead.
Yeah, I get that. It's all very hilarious for you, I'm sure. No chance of you being killed brutally and horribly by a cryogenically frozen monster.
There's a slithering through the bundles of cables and stuff like that are all through the ceiling here. Some sort of inky, black, sinewy shape going amongst them.
Yes, statistically, it's very improbable that I would be killed with, especially brutally, and especially by some monster. Yes. Oh, almost.
Yep, I'm gonna attack now. So you each draw 3 cards.
Oh, yeah. And although we have relationships already, I guess for future reference, would the rule be like when we draw, see if we did relationships yet?
So relationships can happen completely ad hoc. They can happen literally anytime.
Oh, cool.
In play. It's
That
just that the introductory scenes are specifically for building that without the threat of murder.
Nice. Oh, we have a rivalry. Interesting. Forgot about that.
Yeah. This is very interesting. So, all right, you've both drawn up, and I want to say that dramatic irony dictates that I attack the computer first.
Absolutely.
With an 8. Oh, something that that stands a decent chance of being beaten. So, David, you have to play a card, and if it can beat this, you have to play a card that beats it if you want. Okay, awesome. Now, what can happen is I can describe how this how this attack fails. Just a second. Or, Curtis, you can have your character save himself and boost the killer's 8 up to, say, a king or an ace if you have it. That is the highest queen since she is the pointiest queen. So it would have to, if you have a king or an ace, that would mean that the killer offs David's offs the computer instead.
Oh, I actively try and help the killer.
Yeah, just because you have a rivalry.
Do you have a right? And you can do that if you have a king or an ace. Otherwise, the computer survives for the moment.
Yeah, I haven't got anything to beat that.
Awesome. No. You say, oh no, it's fine. The survival can stand. All right. So yes, the Porkface reaches in and pulls like an entire server sled out of the rack. They're like that big. She just pulls one out, goes to pull the next one. What is the computer doing to save itself?
Yeah, might say, what's the word I'm waiting for? Like a unregistered user changing equipment. Please stop immediately.
She reaches in, rips out another tray.
Lieutenant Abbott, Please assist.
Perhaps the computer has some sort of self-defense protocol?
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, Avid's just standing there, shitting himself. Really, no chance of him helping out.
Well, thanks for everything. There's like a laugh track, and then it's just like, I did not mean that. And then it just turns on maybe like shock coils or something.
Mm. Yeah, it freezes Porkface in place. But only for a moment. She's able to grab onto something else, and pull herself away from the electrified floor. Core. Where's the core? Welp, she says to the ensign. Lieutenant, sorry.
Colin just shakes his head and is like, please don't hurt me.
All right, attacking Colin. Oh, with a queen. Oh, goodbye, Colin.
Actually, Colin's going to draw the Joker.
Nice.
Oh, sweet. So does everybody die or does everybody live?
I think everyone's gonna live this time.
All right. You don't get survivor stars for this. Single teardrop. So yeah, describe how the this alien crashes in and saves your bacon.
I think the alien was hiding in the room the whole time and jumps out from behind Colin, who sort of spins out of the way, hearing the wires being pulled and the tables being pushed out of the way by the alien. And the alien flies past Colin into Porkface. And Porkface grabs the alien to try and punish it for its interruption. And while it's doing that, Colin
Runs, I'm thinking.
runs. Would
I have an idea for how the how the computer survives this.
right, I'll run then.
Do you want me to take over that narration,
go ahead.
David? Or do you have an idea of how the computer survives?
No, go for it.
So don't say I never gave you anything, Colin. And the doors to the server room slam shut, and you hear an alarm across the ship that says, "Warning, breach of the atmospheric breach detected," and everything that's loose gets flushed out of the computer room.
Nice. And what was the alien? Was it just like from the movie Alien? Like the
Totally.
scene?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
I mean, that's cool, right? Everybody's happy with the good. So go ahead and discard your cards, Curtis. Oof. Oh no, the Joker is supposed to stay.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right. I can actually dig it out of the discard pile. Because the discard is open to everyone to see. All right, so you both survived. That's amazing. Curtis, set up the next scene, please.
So, would the killers have been flushed out of the room as well?
Oh yeah, they were loose, but that doesn't mean they can't get back on the ship.
Oh, does the killer player, can they be say that the alien and Porkface killed, like either one?
So, I mean, the way it happens to the Joker is that you decide the person who plays the Joker gets to say that the alien shows up and either kills everyone or goes straight for Porkface and lets everybody escape.
Yeah, on a normal round though, do we get to pick who's a character, or are we Porkface?
I think it's always Porkface, but I could be wrong. You might. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be just Porkface, and then the alien gets fan service in every now and then.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I haven't seen the movie that this is based off of, so I really don't know.
I think there's a lobby on the ship with a wide viewing window for everybody to look out into space and relax. And it's going to be a couple people relaxing at the moment.
I want to play Mary Colgate.
Might go Ensign Salt.
Excellent.
So yeah, maybe it's just what's it like, little elevator music playing or something to relax us.
I mean, it could be no music, whichever.
Yeah, I'm thinking just like the cheesiest, like, oh, here's some crackers. Don't worry about it. And Ensign is just like, oh my god, what? What? Why are they making us stay here? This is insane.
Oh, that's because something has gone wrong, dear.
Yeah, lots of things have gone wrong. 4 people, they went real wrong. Now people are releasing serial killers or something.
Yeah. Should have never tried to freeze the pig.
No, I guess.
Doesn't pay, you know? Should have dropped her into the sun instead of into a science lab or whatever.
Yeah, I agree with that. That makes sense.
But here we are.
Hey, you know, I guess I'm almost a senior officer. Maybe, I mean, at this point, I wouldn't mind jettisoning the rest of them. Maybe just to be safe.
If you think that's the appropriate thing to do. But how does that stop? How does that stop Janice?
I don't know. Couldn't hurt.
Yeah, that's a good point. Does it ever stop being strange, Merriweather? You're looking out at the stars and they're so still.
What? What? No, I guess. I don't know.
They don't twinkle like they did on Earth. You know, and it's because of the atmosphere and so on and so forth. It doesn't really prepare you for looking out there and seeing just the fixed field of stars, an eternity away from us.
I think as Mary Colgate is having this like profound like musings, looking out the window. Just Ensign Salt is just like pacing like back and forth behind her, like muttering, like maybe I should. Maybe I don't know. The captain's gone. Maybe I guess Lieutenant. I should talk to him. I don't know.
It looks like we just got a rivalry. Do you want to say that that's the case?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Wonderful. So we'll both draw an additional card when the time comes. Pacing isn't going to help you, dear. It's
All right, wait, okay. As if like just not even listening. She stops and she's like, all right, I have an idea. You know, maybe if I don't jettison them but release the other serial killers, then they'll go against the other one, and then we can just steal the decks below that. And if nothing else, it's just more targets, I guess. That could work.
I like the seal the decks parts, and I'm not so sure I want somebody who liked turning old ladies into sock puppets running about the ship.
Yeah, okay. So I'll steal it first and then release them. Okay, yeah, I like that idea. Good idea. Okay, but I need someone else to put in the passwords as I hold the lever. So you got to come with me. And this is a good plan. I like it. It's good. This is what the captain will do.
All right, youngin, let's get going then. She
Right.
stretches and then comes over.
Does the killer have to show up in this area? In this
He
scene?
could be waiting for us around the corner. It's fine.
Right,
But
I think Porkface and the alien are going to be flying past the window at this point.
does that mean that you're going to attack both of us?
Am I allowed to do that?
Oh, yes.
All right, I suppose that's what I'm doing.
And the funny thing that happens there is if one of us beats it, the other one doesn't, then it's... Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to deal 2 cards to myself.
Oh man,
And
Vincent's well liked.
yeah, you're going to get 4. Well, I mean, not really liked.
Yeah,
exactly.
Sure. Actually, maybe the exact opposite of that.
And then give us a roll there, murder boy. All right.
Yeah.
David, you still have to play.
Yeah. Let me think about this because I can rivalry everybody, but let me play first.
You need to play first. You need to get yourself secure, and then you can betray the old lady. Awesome. Cool. Then you can betray her.
Yeah, I'm gonna try for that.
Yeah, you only need a jack to beat. So you have to beat her 10. Yeah, it's playing a second card from your head. Oh shit. That's amazing. I'm gonna do this then. I'm gonna have both of us die.
Nice. Tricky. Both go down together.
Yep. So what
All
does this look like?
All right, they're grappled together. As they float past the window, you see Porkface grab a hold of sort of ledge above the window.
Yeah, some sort of outrigging. Yeah.
Yeah, just like some handhold.
It
And
would
then
never exist on a real ship, but it's here because it's
it's kind of a chunky ship, you know. There's bits and
Mhm.
pieces. It's not completely smooth. You see Porkface kick the alien away from him, from her, and free of the alien's presence, she turns her attention to you, both of you in the cabin, and starts smashing at the window with her fists.
love it. And I imagine that we're trying to squabble and get past each other.
Cracks start appearing, and they get bigger, and they spread
Did you
out.
know that you're supposed to let ladies go first, you bullocks necked?
And she's like, shut up! I can lock the blast doors from here. And maybe she like goes onto a panel and it's just
Don't shove me out of the way, child.
The bang continues.
She bites
Keeps
your
spreading
arm.
out.
she's like, what? I think just starts fighting, like tumbling with this.
Yeah, okay, awesome. And that's when the glass breaks.
Yeah. And everything comes spilling out of the lobby. Porkface is still holding on to the ledge.
Yep, and whatever non-named characters are in here are all getting pulled out into space. It's a bad way to go, everyone. Not recommended. That was delightful. That was super adversarial. Only have 8 minutes left in the session, though, so I want to try to speed things up a smidge. So, David, take control of the killer. Seize your destiny.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm thinking one of the ranking officers, I guess either Lieutenant Abbott or maybe the chief engineer. I mean, maybe Odysseus, who knows, has called like a meeting of the survivors to get together and kind of make a game plan. We'll say it's in maybe it's just on the bridge, even though maybe like the lights are flickering at this point and everything.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I suggest at least one of those two, but the other person's up for grabs.
What of these three? The AI, the chief, and the lieutenant?
Oh yeah, the three I meant.
Got a preference, Colin?
Curtis.
Curtis! God damn it.
Maybe I should have given the same letter.
I'm just garbage with names. I'm sorry. I'm going to pick Odysseus.
All right. I think Colin and Ed are sort of scared about the ship. They're not really in the mind space to be attending the meeting.
Right. So who's there instead?
I think Ava.
Glad to see the most capable member of the ship attending the meeting. Laugh track.
Excuse me?
The laugh track seems to have some unnecessary triggers, but you are presently speaking, anyway, the most capable member on this vessel. You have an official rank, and everyone with military rank is either dead or sobbing in a corner.
Right, okay. I'm just here to figure out how I'm going to not be here later. So, got any plans?
The most likely scenario is death.
Yeah, I got that part. Maybe something more useful.
This is why I drew this meeting, because I am not entirely capable of the sort of parallelized, innovative thinking that human beings are capable of.
Right, of course.
And as stated before, that sort of thinking cannot be done while drinking yourself to death or desperately trying to find new trousers you haven't shat through.
Right. Not the most effective crew you got here.
The killer was very clever to have killed the most capable members of the staff first, although not very well liked members of the staff.
Right. So, got any even inklings about what we might be able to do?
Well, depending on the strength of the assailant, we may be able to increase the burn of this vessel and essentially make it more difficult for the killer to move around, but that would make it more difficult for everyone to move around, except myself, of course.
Well, if it means people survive, I think they can deal with being trapped for a little while.
Excellent. We are currently proceeding at a 1 Earth gravity burn. We can change this to a 1.5, which is mildly uncomfortable, but workable. 2, which is highly uncomfortable and is not recommended. Exposure is not recommended for children, people with severe medical conditions, and the list goes on. Or higher, which is not advised under any circumstances, but these are not. This is well outside the parameters that I have been able to anticipate. This ship is capable of performing 6G burns for limited periods of time.
Let's just stick with 2. We're trying to save these people.
And I think pretty much when you say that, I'm thinking in the bridge, all the lights go off, except there's like little, imagine like movie theater runners lights of just like red. So everyone's lit up red from underneath, or everyone being only Ava, I guess. And
Caution, intruder detected on bridge.
yeah, and I think that's when you're both, at least for the sake of time, especially, but also because I want to kill both of you. I'm going to target both.
All right, so let's delete those cards. Boop. And the AI gets to draw 2 cards. And Lieutenant Abbott gets to draw. Oh, sorry, I get to draw an additional card. So I get 3, you get 3.
I've drawn a card, but it hasn't gone into my hand. It's hovering above my icon.
Oh, that's cute.
Should I just draw another one?
Sure. All right.
All right, ready?
Yep. Do your Midland.
Oh man.
Oof. Okay.
Pretty high.
Yep, but I can beat that.
Was the hierarchy of the suits?
Clubs is the lowest. Diamonds is the highest.
Right.
So it's clubs, spades, hearts, diamonds.
All right. Well, I have,
You have another jack?
yeah.
Oh, that's good. We were
And so
playing poker this week.
how does Porkface try to do this?
Yeah, I think just in the cover of darkness, as the you can barely see maybe, and what's a good crazy weapon, right?
Big fat electrical conduit.
Oh yeah, that works out. Yeah, just like the room is lit up suddenly by this electrical spark kind of thing, and just you see like Porkface just kind of lunge at Ava.
Urgent! Duck! Shouts the computer.
Ava falls back onto the meeting desk. You know, everyone would gather around, and scurries back onto the other side.
There's a laugh track. And the
And
computer
cheers,
says,
claps.
and cheers, yes. And the computer says, "Did you think that was where I said did you think that's where I resided, you soppy, sow-faced, undercooked, freeze-dried buffoon?"
And I think Porkface still holding this is just like, let's say. No, I think it's better not to say anything. I was about to grumble one word, but I think it's even better saying nothing.
Do you think this counts as friendship now?
Between us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. We both get to draw a card. Yeah. One of us is still going to die. But, you know. Oh, why is it doing this?
Oh.
You didn't see anything?
I think if I remember correctly, I can't do the same target twice in a row, right?
She can't attack both of us again. Yes, you have to attack one or the other.
Right. So, I think it's more important to Porkface to get rid of the computer. I'm going to target it.
That makes total sense. Yes.
Oh, another jack. We got all of them. Nice.
I'm over here. No, still missed. Laugh track.
And I think instead of saying anything, the obvious thing is just Porkface just yells at this frustrated roar, and I think, is it too early to target both of you again?
Nope, that's perfect. Both is not just me, so it counts.
Yeah, I'm going for that. Oh.
Boop.
Nice.
Yeah, dang. Okay. So what does this look like?
So I think Porkface just maybe like the door panel or something, just like slams her fist against it to like shut the door and malfunction it, I guess. So at least Ava's stuck in there.
And I think what the computer will do is say caution, 2 points of contact connected, and reroute the and like stick a little thing up and into like up onto the leg of Porkface and make the current go through her instead.
Just like roars out in pain.
Yep. She's probably real sick of that at this point. All right. Who are you going to attack now? And you're going to say computer again, aren't you?
I want to. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's totally fair. Are you kidding?
Yeah. You're just making her angry at this point. Oh man.
Fortunately for you, I have garbage.
So, do you want a friendship? Friendship is
Yeah.
magic.
We just did. Well, yeah, you could, but that at this point, you can just say no. The friendship doesn't go that far.
I will peel back the curtain and say I'm just going to target you next time. So if that helps make your decision.
Right.
Yeah, helping is just getting a higher card.
Yeah, you have to play a higher card. So it's fine. I think it's dramatically appropriate for the computer to die at this point.
Are you sure? I think Ava would try one last time, assuming she'd assume that the computer was her last chance of actually surviving.
Sure, if you want.
It's only one. I only have one more card for this anyway.
All right, there you go.
Ava gets up on the table with a chair and
Yes.
throws it at Porkface as she tries to get closer to the computer.
Oh, and of course, this iteration of the movie has to have been played by some kind of like one of the lady professional wrestlers. And this is just more fan service.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a random folding chair. The
Yeah,
chairs
why
in the
would-
room aren't even. They're like wheelie chairs, but
Mhm.
this one chair.
And just in the audience, like specifically like 12 guys in the audience, just like, yeah.
Right, and the chair just like bends, like
Yeah.
completely out of shape. In a way that would never happen for something that could support a person's weight. All right, make the next swing there, Porkface.
Yeah. Now I'm targeting both again.
Both again. Rude.
So yeah, at least the computer's getting rid of her or him. It.
All right. I think it's
Yep.
done.
Yeah. Let's see. Could be. I think. Oh, at this point, Porkface is just so frustrated, just shaking with rage, that just kicks that chair away and just takes like the two huge, like wide steps over to Ava, who's like kind of frozen maybe, and just with her bare hands just rips her head off or something.
Right. And I imagine something that's finally critical to the computer system is finally exposed. And
Yeah.
as
Maybe to call back on a few scenes ago, looks over at the maybe just where Porkface walked to, see like turns around and sees like a thing that just is just
labeled
very
core.
yeah, just like giant letters like core. It's like it just rips.
Pay no attention to the man behind the amazing grace. We are over time, so I'm gonna have to cut it there. I just needed to get that last gag in.
That's good.
If we had outtakes, can you give me an outtake you would like to see? I have one right off the top of my head. It's I want to say that Porkface is also played by a lady wrestler in this, and so Ava grabs the chair, hucks it at her, and then it's a real folding chair. Wrestler goes, "Oh, what the hell?" Pulls off the mask. Oh shit!
That's amazing.
Yeah, give me another blooper.
Maybe it's the alien and Porkface like suits just sort of loosely flapping against each other instead of like proper punches.
Yeah, and
Without
like
the sound effects.
And it like switches to like an intern with the view of an intern from a phone camera, and it's looking at the director, and the director just like clutching her head.
Oh yeah, maybe similarly, there's an outtake of I forget who it was, but when the two people were looking out the window as the alien and Porkface were outside floating, and then I think Porkface's just like falls down. It's like, oh, the wires dropped. Oops. Redo.
Yeah, they like grab each other and like Porkface is dangling from the alien.
Yeah.
Like, oh, pull up.
Mhm.
I have another one. It's just it's the captain who like it's it's his top half, which is actually played by him, and he's like making his legs dance. How you get into Carnegie Hall? Practice. Is that good?
Yeah.
I'm glad you all. I'm really. I think I'm going to do this in the future. If we do more Porkface stuff, is have the blooper reel after the game.
Yeah.
Because it's fucking hilarious, and sometimes you need a little bit of levity after brutal murder.
Good point.
All right, that's our
I feel-
broadcast.
Oh,
Oh.
I want to fit in here too. I feel Beatrice definitely was the whiz kid who saved the day at the end. It's got to
Oh,
be in my
absolutely.
notes.
She's at the actual core. That was just a decoy core.
Mhm.
Yeah, she made it out of paper mache or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that was great. Thanks a lot.
Bye.